Hello, Mark. I'm Eden. My number is 80341008. Today and my level is junior. Today I will read Kelli drink water enough with the fear of fate. Post October 2016, rated inspiring, courageous. I'm here today to talk to you about a very powerful little word, one that people will do almost anything to avoid becoming. $1 billion industrial thrive because of this fear of it. And those of us who undeniably are it are left to navigate the relentless storm surrounding it. I'm not sure if any of you have noticed, but I'm fat. Not the lowercase mother behind my back kind or the simply harmless chubby or chuddy. I'm not even the more sophisticated voluptuous or curvaceous kind. Let's not sugar, let's not sugarcoat it. I'm the capital bad kind of bad. I'm the elephant in the room. When I walk out on stage, some of you may have been thinking, oh, this is going to be hilarious, because everybody knows that bad people are funny. Daughter, or you may have even thinking, where does she get her confidence from? Because a confident fat woman is almost unthinkable. The fashion-conscious members of the audience may have been thinking how fabulous I look in a Beth Ditto dress. Cheers. Thank you very much. Whereas some of you might have thought, black will have been so much more stunning. Louder, you may have wondered, consciously or not, if I have diabetes or a partner, or if I eat carbs after 7 p.m. Louder, you may have worried that you ate carbs after 7 p.m. last night and that you really shall renew your gym membership. These judgments are insidious. They can be directed at individuals and groups, and they can also be directed at ourselves. And this way of thinking is known as fatphobia. Like any form of systematic operation, fatphobia is deeply rooted in complex structures like capitalism, patriarchy, and narrations, and that can make it really difficult to see, let alone challenge it. We live in a culture where being bad is seen as being a bad person, lazy, greedy, unhealthy, irresponsible, and morally suspect. And we tend to see things as being universally good, responsible, successful, and in control of our appetites, bodies, and lives. We see these ideas again and again in the media, in public health policy, doctor's office, in everyday conversations, and in our own attitudes. We may even blame bad people themselves for discrimination they face because, after all, if we don't like it, we should just lose weight. Easy, this anti-fat bias has become so integral, so ingrained to how we value ourselves and each other that we rarely question why we have such contempt for people of size and where that distance comes from. But we must question it, because the animals' value we place on how we look affects every one of us. And do we really want to live in a society where people are denied their basic humanity if they don't subscribe to some arbitrary form of acceptable. So when I was 6 years old, my sister used to teach ballet to a bunch of little girls in our garage. I was about a foot taller and a foot wider than most of the group. When it came to doing our first performance, I was so excited about wearing a pretty pink tattoo tutu. I was going to sparkle, and the older girls slipped easily into their decry and theory questions. Not one of the tutors was big enough to fit me. I was determined not to be excluded from the performance, so I turned to my mother and loud enough for everyone to hear say, "Mom, I don't need a tutu, I need a fofo." Lord, thank you, Mom. Applause. And though I didn't recognize it at the time, claiming space for myself in that glorious fofo was the first step toward becoming a radical faith activist. Now I'm not saying that this whole body love thing has been an easy skip along a griddling path of self-acceptance since that day in class. Far from it, I soon learned that living outside what the mainstream considered normal can be a frustrating and isolating place. I have spent the last 20 years unpacking and deprogramming these messages, and it's been quite the roller coasters. I've been openly laughed at, abused from passing cars, and been told that I'm delusional. I also receive smiles from strangers who recognize what it takes to walk down the street with the spirit in your steps and your head high. Cheer. Yoo! Thanks. And though it old, the beer's little 6-year-old has stayed with me, and she has helped me stand before you today as an unapologetic fat person, a person that simply refused to subscribe to the dominant narrative about how I should move through the world in this body of mine. Applause. And I'm not alone. I'm part of an international community of people who choose to, rather than passively accepting that our bodies are and probably always will be big, we actively choose to flourish in these bodies as they are today. People who honor our strength and work with, not against our perceived imitation. People who value health as something much more holistic than a number on an outdated BMI chart. Instead, we value mental health, self-worth, and how we feel in our bodies as vital aspects to our overall well-being. People who refuse to believe that living in these fat bodies is a barrier to anything really. There are doctors, academics, and bloggers who have written countless volumes on the many facets of the complex subject. There are fashionistas, fashionistas who reclaim their bodies and their beauty by wearing bikinis and crop tops, exposing the flesh that we are all taught to hide. There are fat athletes who run marathons, teach yoga, or do kickboxing, all done with a middle finger filing help us up to the status quo. And these people have told me that radical body politics is the antidote to our body shaming culture. But to be clear, I am not saying that people shouldn't change their bodies if that's what they want to do. Reclaiming yourself can be one of the most gorgeous acts of self-love and can look like a million different things. From hairstyles to tattoos to body contouring to hormones to surgery and yes, even weight loss is simple. It's your body and you decide what's best to do with it. My way of engaging in activism is by doing all the things that we fetishists are supposed to do, and there's a lot of them. Inviting other people to join me and then making other body. The common thread. So most of this work has been curriculum in space that are often prohibitive to bigger bodies, from the catwalks to club shows, from public swimming pools to prominent dance stages. And reclaiming spaces and Macy is not only a powerful artistic statement but a radical community building approach. This was so true of Aquapurco, though the faith fans synchronize the night swing thing I start with the group of friends in Sydney. The impact of seeing a bunch of defiant fat women in flowery swimming caps and better throwing their legs in the air without care should not be underestimated. Though throughout my career I have learned that fat bodies are inherently political and unapologetic. Fat bodies can blow people's mind. When Dr. Cat Champion of acclaimed dance theater company Force Major asked me to the artistic associate on a walk featuring all fat dancers. I literally jumped at the opportunity, and I mean literally. Nothing to Lose is a work made in collaboration with performers of size who drew from their life experience to create a work as varied and authentic as we all are. And it was as far from badly as you could imagine. The very idea of fat dance work by such a prestigious company was reportedly mildly controversial, because nothing like it had ever been done on mainstream dance stages before anywhere in the world. People were skeptical. What do you think? Fat dancers like size 10, size 12 kind of fat? Where did they do their dance training? Are they going to have the stamina for a full-length production? But despite the skepticism, Nothing to Lose became a sell-out hit of Sydney Festival. We received rave reviews, won awards, and were written about in over 27 languages. This incredible told me that the show has changed their lives, how it helped them shift their relationship to their own and other people's bodies, and how it made them confront their own bias. Of course, work that pushes people's button up is not without it as detractor. I have been taught that I'm glorifying obesity. I have received violent death threats and abuse for daring to make work that centers fat people's bodies and lives and treat us as worthwhile human beings with valuable stories to tell. I've even been called the I- ICs of the obesity epidemic, though the comment to the absurd that it is funny, but it also speaks to the panic, the literal terror, and the fear of fate can evoke. And it is the fear that's feeding the diet industry, which is keeping so many of us from making peace with our own bodies, or waiting to be the after photo before we truly start to living our lives. Because the real elephant in the room here is fat phobia. Fat activism refuses to indulge this fear. By advocating for self-determination and respect for all of us, we can shift social reluctance to embrace diversity and start to celebrate the myriad way there are to have a body. Thank you. Applause. And then my number is S034100A. My level is junior. Thank you for your listening and goodbye.